Honourable Senators, I wish to draw your attention to the presence in the gallery of a delegation from the National Association of Friendship Centres. They're the guests of the Honourable Senators Anderson and Audette. On behalf of all Senators, welcome to the Senate of Canada. Senator Anderson.
Akana, Mr. Speaker, and honourable colleagues. I rise today to speak to Canada's inaction to create lasting and substantive equality and equity for Indigenous people. Nelville Bonner stated, and I quote, "We as Aboriginal people still have to fight to prove that we are straight-out plain human beings, the same as everyone else." End of quote. On February the 14th, 1831, Mr. Everett, a politician, diplomat, and orator from Massachusetts, rose in the House of Representatives. These are his words. "Here, at the center of the nation, beneath the portals of the capital, let us solemnly auspicate the new era of violated promises and tarnished faith. Let us kindle a grand council fire, not of treaties made and ratified, but of treaties annulled and broken. Let us send to our archives for the worthless parchments and burn them in the face of day. There will be some yearnings of humanity as we perform this solemn act. They were negotiated for valuable considerations. We keep the consideration and break the bond." Historical records support that Canada's policies and legislation mirror that of the United States, from the treaties, Indian Affairs Department, Indian agents, residential school, and colonial practices. Indigenous lands, homes, culture, families, languages, heritage, and all that defined us as distinct Indigenous peoples were violently taken from us by Canada. With historic and modern treaties, land claim agreements, Indigenous and self-government agreements, bolstered with UNDRIP, C-91, an Act respecting Indigenous languages, C-92, an Act respecting First Nations, Inuit and Métis children, youth, and families, TRC recommendations, and missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls' calls to action, Canada has a means to right the wrongs of a nation. Yet, we as Indigenous people face ongoing and entrenched inequality and inequity that profoundly impacts all areas of our lives. It is not the responsibility of Indigenous people to right a nation's wrong. It is Canada's responsibility, and this responsibility extends to us under our role. When we pass legislation in this place, we must consider Indigenous people's reality and the impact of the bill where equality and equity fails to exist and thrive. Treaties, agreements, recommendations, and reports must be consequential and create concrete, substantive, and deliberate actions leading to positive and effective change. Mr. Everett's words are as telling today as they were 191 years ago. We must do better. I close the statement with the following words of Brené Brown, and I quote, "Worthy now, not if, not when. We're worthy of love and belonging now. Right this minute as is." Kuyanayni Masi. Thank you.